Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of Courtside Hoops More Than a Game. This your boy Ron right here with my co-host Courtside Ross, and we got an interesting topic to talk about. Of course, the NBA is back officially. We had some games going on yesterday, got some games going on today, some games going on going forward. So we are excited about the NBA and its return, even though, you know, we do feel like the timing of everything is kind of funny. So with that being said, the NBA is back. Ross, how do you feel about the NBA taking place, and how do you feel about it going on right now?
Finally. That's all I got to say. The good thing is all the players, none of them tested positive for the corona. I just literally read an article today that said 12 athletes at Morgan State, which is HBCU, which we will touch on later, in today's podcast, had 12 kids that tested positive. And now that's putting a rift on the college sports, season and everything. But now that we get to see professional athletes back and they are setting a precedent and none of them are testing positive, then maybe college can follow behind it. So I'm very ecstatic for the NBA to be back.
Yeah, picking on what you were saying with the NBA being back in the COVID, a lot of players, they said they haven't had a positive COVID test since July 13th, I believe, when I read up on that. And speaking in terms of saying, with college, that's something we'll tap into later on, because with college, most likely the sports is not going to happen till fall. The fall is not going to happen till the spring. The fall season is not going to take place until spring. And that's an interesting thing. But the NBA is back, and how I feel about the NBA being back, I'm excited to watch basketball, of course. I pay a lot of money for Comcast and shit, and I don't even get to watch TV because I don't watch nothing but sports. Basketball and football when it comes down to what I generally pay for. But I'm excited. I'm excited for different reasons. I'm excited because for maybe the first time in maybe 9 to 10 years, I don't know who's going to win the championship.
Facts, finally.
I can't really set in stone who will win. I do feel like it is open to various teams. I feel like that's what's going to make it more fun. I do think the eighth spot not the eighth spot, the last particular seed, last couple of seeds is still open for any teams, because a lot of teams are going to be playing without their best players or, certain chemistry issues. So the unknown is what makes this fun to me again, because for the last few seasons, even outside of the Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant, even before then, I always had a good feel about who will win the championship and what will be the last couple of teams standing. And this time, I absolutely have no clue. It could be Lakers, Clippers. It could be Clippers, Bucks. It could be Rockets, Bucks. It could be Bucks, Celtics. It could be Celtics, Clippers. It could be any form. And that's the one thing I'm interested in watching and seeing.
So let me piggyback off what you're saying.
Yeah.
So in the last 3 or 4 podcasts we've done, we haven't mentioned the Philadelphia 76ers. Why is that?
Because the Philadelphia 76ers haven't given us anything to mention.
Do they not have the best home record in the NBA? Even though that the bubble isn't technically at home. They have the best home record it's at home. They play terrible on the road.
They won the worst road teams
of all time.
If you want to look at the standard of what we compare teams to, like the standard of what we compare these good teams to, when it comes to road, they're probably the worst out of all the good teams when it comes to being on the road. So being that they're going to be in this bubble, no fans, because the Philadelphia fans in general are some of the best fans in sports. So you don't have that energy. I always tell you about energy games, right?
Energy games.
When you come out and you just know they're finna come out fire, no matter what's going on. Okay, they lost about 50 the first 2 games. They're gonna come out today. It's gonna be a game today. They don't have that to fall back on with the home court. So until I see consistent chemistry and fluent basketball between Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and the other players that's around, I can't say they're better than Boston, even though technically, by talent-wise, they may be. I can't say they're better than the Raptors, even though talent-wise, they may be the best.
Are they better than Miami?
Miami, hey. Yo. Miami get the right matchups. Miami can be one of the final 4 teams standing if they get the right matchups, man. Because they have that small ball going, but they're tough. It's not like with the Warriors small ball without Kevin Durant. When it was Harrison Barnes, it was more strategic about scoring, right? It was their ability to switch off on anything that's coming. And Draymond Green, being the defensive anchor that he was, they was able to switch on any positions on both sides of the court and be there. The Miami had that same ability with Bam, with Jimmy Butler, with Tyler Hero, with these guys that off the switches they can make a play, and on the defensive end they're not a slouching. So I don't think the Sixers are better than the Miami Heat right now. I don't. I think if we're going to speak in terms of Eastern Conference, I would say in order, and this is only because of what we've seen. I will go Raptors. I would go Bucks. I would go Bucks.
Oh, okay.
I would go Bucks. I would go Raptors. I would go Celtics, and I would go Sixers. I would go Heat.
Miami.
I would go Sixers.
Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I respect that. I'm just, astounded that we haven't even really mentioned Philly, because I don't think we're showing them enough respect.
But have they given us something to show them?
They haven't. They have and they haven't. But at the end of the day, look what they got. You still added Josh Richardson. You still got Tobias Harris.
Josh Richardson, who hasn't really gotten to the flow of the season because he's been in and out of the lineup.
And you still have Al Horford. People forget about that. They got the best starting five in the league.
They have one of the best starting five.
I know, and maybe one of them.
They have the best starting five in the league if they play to that potential. They have one of the best starting five in the league, most definitely.
So I think that. See, this is where it comes down to, because we watched Giannis last year, right? And we watched him struggle against Al Horford and the Celtics. We watched him a little bit. And we watched him struggle against him a little bit. But, they still end up winning the series and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you got Joel Embiid down there. You got Al Horford down there.
Mm-hmm.
You got the trees down there. That's a bad matchup on the defensive end for the Milwaukee Bucks.
It is.
Offensively, I don't know if Philly has enough firepower offensively to shoot in the three ball.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting the three ball. But defensively, if Milwaukee not hitting shots and they come against a team like the Sixers, that might be a nightmare for them.
Okay, I can see that. And I'm a defend the Bucks in this situation right here, right? They have trees too, right? Giannis, Brooke, Robin Lopez, Chris Middleton, them guys are 6'10" and up, right? They have trees. When you look at Al Horford, if you give me Al Horford 2 years ago, then I would look at because Al Horford played better this season when Embiid wasn't on the floor. When Embiid was on the floor, he didn't even know where he didn't look like he was positioned in the right way. And he would not have games that he would have. And I know this because these guys are on my fantasy. So with Al Horford, Brooke Lopez, who's shooting the best three-point ball as a center in the league for the past 2 seasons, he's going to take Al Horford right out of that position where the trees really matter that much. Because he's going to be out three-point shots. You got to be there. I like Robin Lopez. Always like Robin Lopez. He's going to give you consistent 8, 10, 8.
I want to. If Brooke Lopez is shooting threes, I want to live with that. He gonna have to beat me shooting threes.
But the thing is that if he's open, he's gonna knock it down, bro.
Yeah, I'm not saying he won't, but
right,
once you rather him.
So if you open Al Horford to the switch, where Al Horford has to be out there with Brooke Lopez, that lane is open. And as good as Joel Embiid is as a defender when he's healthy, when he's going, he's not finna stop Giannis for 48 minutes of being one-on-one attack to the paint. The way you beat the Bucks, as we have seen, which is you clog Giannis, you make everybody else a jump shooter, right? So with Lopez shooting the ball the way he's shooting it, if Middleton makes the shots that he makes, if the rest of these guys can just hit their jump shots, Philly can play their best basketball, and the Bucks can play their best basketball, and the Bucks are the better team. This is how I always
absolutely the Bucks are the better team,
right? So I think those trees play a part. I think Al Horford and Embiid can definitely do damage to any team in the NBA. I'm be honest with you. I don't know how comfortable they are with playing with each other yet because they still didn't show that before all this happened. And until I see the chemistry with them guys together, that they can – and because now it's even playing field. Nobody really has chemistry outside of the people that have been on the same team for years and good superstars like LeBron and AD, because good players can get in chemistry with anybody. If Horford and Embiid can find some type of chemistry where they know their position on the floor, where they both can be on the floor and be effective where they can be at, it's a long series for anybody playing Philadelphia. Anybody. But until Philadelphia is able to translate their game on a consistent basis, where Ben Simmons is applying pressure to the offense on the offensive end and not letting it be a 4-on-5, or in some cases, if whoever they may have on the floor, it could be a 3-on-5 offensively.
Facts.
If Ben Simmons is not making his shots and they in rotations right now. So until they can figure that out, until we can see that.
No, I understand that, but I can combat you with this though.
I'm listening.
I can combat you with this. What about Philly's perimeter game? Okay, and the thing about the perimeter game is different because they're not going to shoot a lot of threes, which is not going to lead to a lot of transition buckets for the Milwaukee. They're going to get the ball to Embiid. They're going to get the ball to Al Horford, and they're going to try to abuse them in the paint. That's going to slow the game down.
But this is what they've been doing for years now.
This is what they've been doing for years, and I agree with you. And I'm not saying they're better than the Bucks. I'm not even saying they're going to play the Bucks or they're even going to meet the Bucks. But what I am saying is that I don't think that's a great matchup for Milwaukee. I mean, I just think that if Milwaukee gets one of those bad matchups, and Philly could be one of those bad matchups, Miami could be a bad matchup, we might not even be talking about Boston. It might be a bad matchup. The thing is, I think Milwaukee defensively is the best team in the league. Offensively, I think they have one of the, they don't have the best offensive players in the league, but offensively, the offensive chemistry, I think Milwaukee's one of the best in the league. But it's going to come down to the one-on-one players.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, do you trust Giannis that much more than Tobias Harris to give you no? Listen to what I'm saying. To shoot a jump shot at the end of the game.
I trust Giannis to make a play.
Make a play, but he's going to have to make a play because everybody.
LeBron got to make a play too.
He got to make a play.
We get in details when we talk about the championship chances and who we believe that who have the championship hopes. Being that what we saw yesterday, the performance from Bobo, Party stood out more than anybody. One, because he hasn't had that many NBA action. Only played, I believe, 2 NBA games this season, if that, I think 1 or 2. And 2, we both know Bobo. We seen Bobo in high school. We met him and talked to him, and we seen where he lacked the confidence, but also knew that he was better than everybody on that floor out there, right? When we went out there with Calipari in Denver back in 2017, and they was doing Team USA. You got P.J. Washington, you got Kevin Knox, Cam Reddish, Lou.
I don't think Kevin Knox was there, was it? Kevin Knox wasn't there.
Kevin Knox was there, but he left the next following.
He left early.
Yeah, he left early.
Lewis King.
What's the boy that played for Indiana? The other guy. He played for Boston now.
You talking about the point guard? Carson Edwards.
Carson Edwards, and another guy. It was the other guy too.
It was the boy that went to Maryland.
Was it Romeo? What was his name?
Romeo Langford, and the boy that went to Maryland.
Right? So all these guys are NBA players right now, right? All those guys we just mentioned. And Bobo didn't make that team, right? Bobo was sent home because of whatever particular reason. And me and you both said, and I stated, and I'm saying, like, Bobo really better than everybody on this court. Like, if you want to be honest, like, he's 7'3", and he cannot be. He's 7'3", and he's not one of those type of lanky guys that don't have no structure to him. Like, he has skill. The way where he was lacking in the Team USA was the fact that maybe Calipari already had his favorites, who he already was choosing, and maybe he felt like, you know what, I might as well just go ahead and go about my business because it's clear he wants PJ and everybody else, and who else?
Hamidou Diallo was out there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of NBA players that was there. And it's like that at these events with these top guys there. Most of them going to be in the NBA. Most out of the 15, 20 guys there, 14 of them going to the NBA, right? So Bobo always had that. What he did yesterday was just a glimpse of what he really can do on a consistent basis. You can consistently get 16 and 10 and 3 to 5 blocks, 3 to 6 blocks from Bobo every night. I'm talking from any team he's playing. You can get that from him. So I think that with the Denver, Colorado coach, the Nuggets coach, doing the big lineup with Jokic ran the point guard, and they had Grant Plumlee, and Millsap, and it was just fun to work with. That's not going to work in a real situation,
right?
But in sense of, I like what Bobo brought to the table. I am looking forward to his performance really going to the next level. And how do you feel about what you saw from Bobo? How do you feel about what you saw from anything? If you were able to catch any highlights, but particular Bobo?
Oh, well, that's his first thought out, that they did play the Washington Wizards yesterday, who have nobody out there right now. Our boy Troy Brown is out there, but honestly, Troy Brown or Rory Hachimura might be the best players on the floor. Just being hypothetically speaking, just being honest.
That's okay. That's okay.
So I'm not taking anything away from Bobo, but I want to see him do that against a more dominant big man. I mean, we don't even know who the Wizards big man is. I mean, me and you might know, but the average NBA fan doesn't even know.
I get what you're coming
So before I am gonna glamorize everything he's done, I have to see more. But this is what we were talking about. Especially, you said Bobo was gonna be nice a long time ago. We knew he had a 3-point shot. We knew he had the handle. We saw this. We didn't get a glimpse of this at University of Oregon either.
No, we didn't.
We didn't, because we were robbed.
If we did, Bobo would have been a top 5 pick easy. Just because we would have been
absolutely. Instead of going 44, I believe he went.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he had the Liz Frank injury. I don't want to put names on the injuries because I don't really remember, but it's the same injury I think Michael Jordan had, and there's another big, and maybe Yao Ming or somebody had.
Yeah. It was a bad foot injury.
It was a bad foot injury. So this is why he dropped in the draft.
He did.
But talent-wise, he's easily probably top 10, top 15. That's going to be coming out of this draft.
True.
But to see a big man do that, it's like we never seen that before. I've never really seen a 7'3".
I never seen that before.
That damn looked like Kevin Durant out there.
Yeah, at 7'3".
Without the handles and all that shit.
Right.
But it's just, we just ain't never seen nothing like that. So if we can do this and bring it to Denver, we might be looking at Denver possibly being a championship team next year.
Yeah, definitely being a contender team with that type of talent joining it, and that team continue to form. I definitely agree with you.
Because we still got to see Michael Porter too. So if he come out,
and speaking of that, right? So Michael Porter, you got all these young kids that get to the NBA, may have to sit out a year or two while they're getting their game together. And now we have this other generation of kids that's thinking G League, HBCUs, overseas. And speaking of HBCUs, Dwayne Wade made a statement about Maker going to Howard. He said that he loves that the kids are going to HBCUs. He's with the movement, but he's concerned about exposure. And I know that you were saying the same thing, and facilities, and you were saying the same thing, and so
hold up. That was one thing I said. I said Howard. I said Howard was one of those schools that one of those kids could go to when we first started talking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm just speaking in terms of him. D-Wade saying that he feels that the exposure to, he said, because if these big name schools don't schedule these kids, you're not gonna see them. Or if these network marketers don't schedule these kids, you're not gonna see them. And before I say what I gotta say about him, definitely let you say what you gotta say about it. What do you feel like? Do you think D-Wade has a point, or do you think that, as I may be thinking, exposure doesn't really matter on the masses anymore? I think that we live in a closed-in internet world that if you balling, you balling. It don't matter where you at. But go ahead, what you think about?
I mean, D-Wade is 100% right about the facilities. So, on the term with the facilities, I give him that. But the thing is, did we know James Harden at Arizona State? Did we know C.J. McCollum at Lehigh University? Did we know Steph Curry at Davidson?
Right.
Did we know Dame Lillard at Weber State?
No.
Did we know Klay Thompson at Washington?
No.
Exactly.
We know Kawhi.
Did we Kawhi at San Diego State? Did we know Paul George at Fresno State?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm naming you the top players in the league, and we ain't know nothing about them in college. So who cares about exposure? They're gonna get exposed. Right. Did we know Ja Morant before his sophomore year? We didn't know Ja Morant, Murray State. So I can go on for days and days and days and tell you that exposure don't mean nothing. They're gonna find you. And honestly, I don't care about being on TV. because it's less pressure on me if I'm a college athlete. I don't have to live up to these standards. Even if I'm expected to average 25 a game at Duke and I average 15 at HBCU, don't nobody care.
Absolutely.
Because we just happy you came. So,
Absolutely.
I mean.
Really just said something there.
So, at the end of the day, how do you feel about that?
I feel the same way you feel. I feel like the facilities is going to grow as the players come. Yeah, we don't have $1 million facilities like some of these, some HBCUs do, but not all, because, you know, some are more historic than others. But as these athletes come in, this money comes in. One thing about ESPN or any other marketer or any other body that deals with big companies and big brands, if the number one player is at a school, then we at that school. I don't give a damn they playing the school up the street. I don't care who they playing, right? They don't care about that. This is what I think D Wade and some other guys may have misinterpreted. And I'm not saying that he misinterpreted, may have the shallow idea of the old school way of things being done and recruitment, like, and the way that they was recruited to the NBA and how they were brought into it, like having to go to the school, having to make the tournament, having to do this to even get anybody even look at you. Now you don't have to do that. Now you have guys like Ben Simmons who teams suck when he was at LSU, and they still get to pick where they pick. Or you get, it doesn't matter where you at anymore. It doesn't even matter if you do go to HBCUs or not. So I feel like the move that Maker is making, the move that he is transitioning to is opening up a portal where the HBCUs will get that exposure. It has to start somewhere, and I believe that this is the beginning of where it starts at. But I definitely agree with what you're saying when it comes to.
Do you think Mikey Williams is going to choose it? Do you think Mikey Williams is going to choose the HBCU as well?
Of course, his final 10 schools is 7 of them HBCUs.
I don't know about 7, but it was quite a few in there.
No, most of them was HBCUs, bro. Most of them was HBCUs. The only ones I seen that wasn't was I think it was North Carolina.
I don't want to specify because I saw 10, and then I didn't necessarily see more than 3 or 4, but I could be wrong. I gotta go back and look.
A lot of the HBCUs you might not know they're HBCUs, but they was HBC. Like we may have, you know, at some schools we like
Alabama State, the Hornets.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but as far as what I'm able to see, it's about 5, 6 HBCUs on that list.
Gotcha.
I feel like he's going to make it because he's already pushed that pressure to himself to make that. It just comes down to whether we're going to stay consistent with the decision and how we treat these athletes at the HBCUs the first couple of years is going to determine how it's going to be for the next 20 years. And I am looking forward to it because I do believe that we're going to do what we need to do to get these kids back into the place that we need them to be at. So on to the next situation we're talking about. The NBA is going to be voting on the MVPs, the Rookie of the Years, Defensive Player of the Years, and Coach of the Years, etc. You know, and I actually thought they were going to finish a little bit more of the games first, maybe, like, you know, before they do that. But to vote before this, all of this seems like it's fake to me, right? Like this is not the right order.
Fake or fake?
It's fake. Like
fake.
Because I feel like it's players that's getting robbed. Like we put too much control into these voters in history. Like they are voting people. Resumes is on the line with this kind of stuff. Like Hall of Fame status, your level, your position in NBA all-time ranks is on the line, and to people that probably never made a layup, right? Right. And I feel like that's wrong. But with that being said, we got to pick. So who's your MVP? First and foremost, who's your MVP?
I heard a lot of people say Giannis, but I'm gonna have to go LeBron. I mean,
okay.
Hypothetically speaking, LeBron James can win this shit every goddamn year. Yeah. And the numbers might speak Giannis. The metrics, you know how in 2020 they love the metrics. They love the metrics. So the metrics might say Giannis 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
But the eye test is going to say LeBron James 8 out of 10 times.
The eye test definitely.
So, I mean, to lead the league in assists at 35, and you don't even have no shooters on your team, I mean, you could say what you want about. I saw some stat and I heard about some stat about how he's getting a few assists a game off of leaking out and Anthony Davis. I don't care about leaking
I
out.
don't care about none of that. Right.
I don't care about none of that. Because at the end of the day,
Westbrook led the lead in triple doubles by having some of the easiest assists that he was getting with Stevie Adams and some other guys. So I'm not trying to hit none of that.
But just to have him doing what he's doing, and I mean, I could go on for days about how Giannis should win, but I'm not going to agree with that. I got to give it to LeBron.
I agree with you. I think that LeBron James is the MVP. Not because, like you said, you explained this as thorough as you could. The eye test is different from the stats, right? Statistically, Giannis is having one of the most better years that I've ever seen, and he should be MVP in most cases. But what LeBron is doing at the age of 35, not only that, but his numbers is not far away from Giannis. Not only that, the last game that they played, LeBron beat him. Like, so we going off the last thing that we saw. LeBron James is literally carrying the Lakers. He's making the Lakers. He is the Lakers. He's making them better than what they really are. They don't. If we're going to be honest, and I'm going to tap into that when we talk about the championships, the Lakers team is not nowhere near as good as the Clippers team. And you know how I am about the Lakers. I'm being honest right now. And
not now, at least. Not now.
I mean, I felt with Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo, and I felt with the full health, the Lakers were the better team. I feel like neither team was able to miss one person out of their 7-8 rotation. And if they missing one person that's pivotal, then it's going to come down to a lot of other variables.
So who does the league need most to win a championship?
The league doesn't need anybody to win a championship. The LeBron James wins MVP is just as good as the league winning the championship. His fan base is that strong.
So who needs to win the championship, you think? Who, if you were the commissioner, who would you think should win the championship to help the league the most?
That's the thing about this season. That's the thing about this season right now. It doesn't matter right now.
Doesn't matter.
It would have mattered a couple years, these last 3 or 4 years. It would be good. It was good for Toronto to win the NBA championship last year. It was good for that, right? It doesn't matter right now. Any team can win, and it's going to be great for the NBA right now. But these awards is different, right? LeBron James is MVP to me. He's led the lead in assists. He's leading the team in the West, which is the tougher conference. No disrespect to Giannis. I love what Giannis does. Giannis is having better numbers, but he's still the same Giannis, right? We won't know where his game is took in the next drive until we see him in a playoff situation. We know what LeBron is doing, and for LeBron to be doing something brand new that he never done in his whole career, which is lead the league in assists, he's never done that. He's doing that in year 17. If you do something I never seen before, when Westbrook did what he did, I got to give you something. I never seen it before. When Steph did what he did, I never seen it.
James Harden did what he did.
I never seen it before. When Giannis did what he did, I never seen nobody come in and give you 30 and 15 like that. We never seen nothing like that, right? So I'm pretty happy with LeBron winning the MVP. Who do you have for Rookie of the Year?
Ja Morant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ja Morant got to get it by technicality.
They got to get it. It shouldn't be no code, none of this. You can't play no 18, 19 games and you win MVP. I don't care. But I was stick with Ja Morant.
Yeah, Ja Morant changed my mind when I went to go see him play in Memphis.
He's special. He's special.
He's special. He's special. Like you take, even if Zion played the whole season, it still would have been neck to neck situation, right? He's special. He's a special kid. He's that good of a kid. And he's hungry. He reminds me of a city kid. Like he reminds me of a young. He reminds me of Allen Iverson. I mean, in a lot of ways he does. He reminds. I think that
I was gonna say that
the way that he plays on the court, the way that he attacks the basketball rim, the way that he makes his players better. He's a better passer than Allen Iverson. And I'm not mad if Ja Morant wins Rookie of the Year. I wish Zion would have played more. And we would have, because Zion is special too.
Very special.
I'm okay with Ja Morant winning Rookie. I agree with that. Who's your defensive player of the year?
That's a hard one. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Giannis.
I'm gonna go with
that one. I'm gonna go with Giannis. I don't have much to say about that. The metrics show, the numbers show that he's the best defensive player.
I'm gonna go with Giannis. Giannis is as close as I've seen to defensive player of the year and MVP that we've seen in our lifetime.
I think that's why a lot of people are not going to give Giannis the MVP because they're like, okay, he can win Defensive Player as well. But that should be even more case for him to even win the
That's
MVP.
what I'm saying. Like, if Giannis gets MVP,
Mhm.
I can't be mad at none of it. I just think LeBron deserves it. And even then, I think I sound more like a fan when I say LeBron deserves it because Giannis' numbers is just so incredible, bro. Right? The man is putting up some numbers some Shaq-like numbers, man, and playing point guard in a center in a power forward body with small forward skill. Like we haven't seen no shit like that. Like so, and every time I watch him, I like watching Giannis. Like I don't. Some players, some superstars we get bored or you get irritated with how they win or how they score. Like some people get irritated with James Harden. I don't, but I'm speaking in terms of the normal fan. They get
Tim Duncan.
Yeah, all this. No, a bucket is a bucket. And I love seeing the way that Giannis plays. So I agree, Giannis is my defensive player of the year too. With Anthony Davis a close second.
And Anthony Davis is very close.
Who's your coach of the year?
I don't know, man. I gotta go with that boy out Toronto.
I gotta go with that boy out Toronto.
I gotta go with that boy out Toronto, bro.
I gotta go with Nick Nurse too.
I gotta go with Nick Nurse. I mean, bro,
I didn't expect Toronto to be nowhere near where he at right now.
I have some people say that Toronto wouldn't even make the playoffs this year. I have people say that Toronto Raptors will not make the playoffs this year.
I seen that.
So it's just Nick Nurse, the coldest coach in the league right now.
He is the coldest
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro.
No, he is the best coach in the league right now.
He might be the best coach in the league.
He might be the best coach in the league right now.
He ain't gonna get the most respect. Pop gonna get more respect. Even Eric Spoelstra might get more respect. But in 5 years from now, we're gonna be talking about Nick Nurse.
At 5 years from now, Bradley Stevens and Nick Nurse is gonna be runners. Gonna be battles with them in the East if they stay with those teams about who's gonna be. Right now, Nick Nurse got his hands up. He got the ship, and the way that he's, like I said, we see Pascal Siakam has been a top 5 small forward this year, right? Kyle Lowry's having one of his best years, and the team just plays so fluent. They're good defensively. It's just a team. They're a real team, and Nick Nurse deserves the credit for that. So I definitely agree with you on that. So we pretty much, when it comes to the awards, we pretty much got the same.
What about most improved?
Right. Oh, most improved. Okay. It's going to be tricky right here.
It ain't tricky. You know what it is.
In my head, most improved to me, and only me, is Brandon Ingram.
It's Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram is the most improved player this year.
Why he not?
He is. He is. And I just think he needed to get out of that Lakers situation.
Yeah, he did.
I think he needed to get out of that situation because I did not care for him as much in LA.
No,
I saw the talent, but when people started comparing him to KD, I'm like, all right, y'all tripping now. Like, y'all better chill out with that.
Yeah.
So I think I fell in too much into that. But now to wait to see who, bro, he one of the best small forwards in the league.
One of the best small forwards in the league, bro. He a bucket. I've been telling you that he was a bucket. I told you that boy was a bucket, man. He had to get out of LA to become that, because even under LeBron tutelage, he would have been timid in his game. We see Kyle Kuzma is very timid in his game right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without the pressure of LeBron or Cal or Brandon Ingram last year, Kuzma had 30-something games, scored his career high, 35, 38-point games, right? So I do think that Ingram had to leave to become what he's become. But what he is right now at the age of 23 years old, he's only 23, is one of the best prolific scorers in the NBA.
What about a case for Luka Doncic though?
The thing is,
from 20 to almost 30 points a game.
But the thing is with Luka is this though, and Luka can definitely get it. The thing with Luka is that they wanted to make Luka All-Star last year.
Mm-hmm.
Luka's already the NBA's, like, he's their next. They already have him as their next already. Like, they already have him better than Trey. Everybody else, he's already better than that whole next class that's in. Like, that if you came in from 2000, you got what we had. We had AD, Bradley Beal.
2017 maybe.
These guys, yeah. If you come from 2017 and down, he's going to be the leader of that generation. So I think that Luka would have got most improved in any other situation. But being that he's the MVP candidate right now, they're judging him on it. When they do most improved, they're looking at guys that they don't expect to be as good, and they end up being better than what we think they're going to be.
Facts.
Luka was projected to be, even you was liking Luka as far as even when before he even played rookie, like, yo, this dude might be, and me, you know, I'm not a fan of international guys off the back. And I was more hesitant, like, yo, maybe he you know, I got to see that, right? And that second half of the season, I'm like, yo, he that. Luka Doncic is going to be a top 5. Luka Doncic is a top 5, top 8 player in the NBA right now. It don't necessarily, most improved player is not going to do nothing for his resume, right? He might be MVP in 2 years. I'm just being honest with you, bro.
So out of all those players we just named, I mean, would you rather start your career with Zion Williamson? I mean, started your franchise with Zion Williamson, Luka of all of them. Over Zion?
Luka's ready.
Oh, okay. All right. I respect that.
Zion gonna give me tickets, but Zion's position and his position in basketball is needing someone else to be good to make everybody else better. Zion's gonna make everybody better because he's gonna draw a double team. Luka's gonna make you better because he's gonna make you better.
Yo, it's crazy. This might be
he's gonna make you better anyway.
This might be the craziest thing I'm ever gonna say. Craziest thing. But when it's all said and done, Luka Doncic might have the greatest of all time numbers we've ever seen.
No, it's not.
He's already on pace for that.
He's already on pace for that. He's already youngest. He's crushing LeBron James numbers at 21. Crushing them. Crushing LeBron James numbers at 21. And you see what LeBron James is. LeBron James is going to have might have every record, every possible scoring record in NBA history. So Luka Doncic has already got more triple doubles than Jason Kidd, Magic Johnson, and LeBron James combined at 21 years old. That's impressive by itself, right? And because when you think of triple doubles, you think about them guys off the back. And then his scoring, he on pace to really much. If he doesn't, he's injury prone now. Now Luka's guaranteed to miss you 10 to 15 games a year. Now that doesn't excuse me, I got the hiccups. That doesn't always change as you get older. That pretty much stays the same. If you miss 10, 15 games your first 3 years, then you're going to be a 10 or 15 game that's missing type of guy your whole career. So with that being said, I think Luka is the records he may be able to achieve because he's young right now to do it, but at the same time, I really see him just winning a bunch of MVPs in the championship. I think if he stays in Dallas, I see one ship, and I see a Dirk Nowitzki career.
I can see one. I'll give him one.
I see one.
The league's gonna be way too too competitive to get more than that.
If he can keep Kristaps Porzingis and Porzingis can just be a little bit of what he was before he got hurt, and they add just different pieces and variables as the years go on. Them guys,
Giannis maybe. I mean, what if Giannis don't win? I think he might go to Dallas, bro. I honestly think that would be the best situation for him.
I think Giannis is going to go anywhere that he can win the championship if he doesn't win in Milwaukee.
Why not go to Dallas? You're going to win like 3 or 4 rings.
I think anything is open. I think
Miami's also open, but I'd rather play with a younger Luka Doncic than an older Jimmy Butler. That's just me.
Right.
So,
and I'd rather play with a young Kristaps Porzingis. Let's stop acting like Porzingis is not 25 years old, bro.
He's gonna make the All-Star game a few times.
Who?
Once he get healthy. Yeah.
He was killing before this whole stuff happened. He was getting it back.
That's like that young Nash and young Dirk.
And hopefully they don't give up on it earlier than what they did before. Right. So I kind of see it working out. So with that being said, I do see that, your awards pretty much match your mine. So you pretty much got the same mindset. So hopefully the NBA, you can see if they match ours too. But off into the last subject that we're going to talk about, the championship. Who do you have winning the championship? Why do you have them winning the championship?
Well, every day I sit back and think about this every single day. At the beginning of the season, I toggle with the Lakers. I've talked with the Rockets. I wrote an article with the Rockets saying a ton of stock alone at the beginning of the season. I think the Rockets have a legitimate shot at winning this championship. That 5-0 basketball, we had this discussion, and then they came out and beat the Lakers that night. We had a discussion. So right now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I see LeBron James, I see his hunger, right? I see him fighting for the greatest player of all time, but I also see him missing some pieces. And it doesn't matter, it's an NBA league. You can't be missing people and winning championship. And if he does, then, you know, this is the year he could be able to maybe do it. But
maybe.
The only reason why I don't have the Lakers win the championship is because the coach. I don't know how great of a coach Frank Vogel really is. I'm not saying he's not a great coach. I know he's a great defensive mind. Offensively, LeBron James is the orchestrator on that team. So when you sit back and look at it, I look at Doc Rivers, who's coached Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Kendrick Perkins, Kevin Garnett. I sit back and look at him, and I'm like, he's one of the best coaches in the league. You know, then you add Paul George, Pat Bev, Kawhi Leonard, and I just feel like the Clippers got the most pieces right now. I mean, defensively and offensively, they don't match up as well as some teams like the Rockets would be a nightmare matchup for them because the 3-point ability to shoot. But when you sit back and look at Kawhi Leonard and just see what he's done and what he did last year and what he can do this year, and how you see LeBron James in the media and he's playing for positioning and, you know, throwing jabs at the media because they always throw jabs at him saying, you know, y'all said I could never do nothing in the East. Well, here, I'm going to do it in the West type stuff.
Right.
I don't see Kawhi Leonard saying nothing.
Facts.
And Kawhi Leonard's on a mission to become the best player in the league. I already think he's the best player.
Kawhi Leonard wants to beat LeBron James.
He wants to beat him. He could have easily joined him and copped out and got 5 rings. Easy. And been the top 5 player of all time. When it's all said and done. Easy. But he didn't do that. I think Paul George couldn't beat LeBron James. He also knows Frank Vogel a little bit because he played with him for a long time. So that's another narrative right there a lot of people aren't thinking about. I think Paul George had that.
I haven't thought about that. Yeah.
I think Paul George having an injury and getting over the injury. I think Pat Beverly being from Chicago, being hungry. I think Lou Williams being the catalyst on almost every team. And you see him in the playoffs and he's killing. He never had that chemistry.
Yeah,
he never had that. He never had a superstar. And then he just throw Kawhi Leonard there. The Clippers are the team to beat to me. What about you?
I'm going to go off what you said. The Clippers are the team to me by default. I felt the Lakers had their full roster. I felt they were going to be a problem with their size, and I felt like Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo perimeter defense and Avery Bradley's ability to knock the open 3-down shot and guard your 3-1 on switches, and Rondo able to guard your 1-3 on the switches was big. I don't trust Danny Green, Alex Caruso, J.R. Smith to replace that. They're not better than Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo. The team is not better than what they were before the bubble hit, before all this stuff hit. The team is not better. The team was better, and it showed when they played their last game. They played with the Clippers, and I was able to see why the Lakers could be better. And the Clippers didn't do anything different. The Clippers played a great game. The Clippers were in there. I felt the Lakers could be because that size is a problem. JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James. That is a problem. And these are smart defenders. These are great shot blocking, smart defenders. Great pick and roll defending big men. But your big man need protection from your guards to get inside the paint, right? Your big man job is to be the backup if you can't stop your man, which means your big man is there. And once you get your first line defenses down, your big man has to step up, and that creates a whole lot of problems because now your big man can't guard this 3 or can't be right here for that pass, and that's where the Lakers are going to have problems at. Missing Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo, 2 of their best defenders, 2 of their best perimeter defenders. They're not going to get. They can't. I don't think they can beat the Clippers like without that. The Clippers, like you said, it's something about the team that makes you that when you see the team, you see a different type of passion and hunger for this championship. That's why they know that they're the most talented team in the NBA right now. They know that no team can beat them. They're starting 5, 6, 7 guys right now. They know that. And with a coach like Doc Rivers and with the confidence that the Clippers have, I don't see no team right now beating them. And this may change as we don't know who's going to be in out the bubble and in, COVID situations or health situations. But right now, the Los Angeles Clippers is my favorite to host the 2020-2021 NBA championship. I mean, the 2020 NBA championship.
I can agree. I've seen a lot of people say Milwaukee too, and I'm not mad at that as well.
I'm not mad at it either. And I'm not, but Milwaukee, like you said, come down to Giannis and them wasn't able to beat Kawhi Leonard. And the Raptors is not a better team than what this Clippers team is. Let's be honest. This Clippers team is better than that Raptors team that won the championship last year. And roster-wise, they're better. And in this format, playoff, we don't know yet, but if Giannis wasn't able to beat the Raptors team, it was just pretty much him and Kawhi going back and forth. I don't trust Middleton and any other body on this roster to step up enough to beat Paul George, Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, Marcus Morris, and Kawhi Leonard, 5 guys averaging 20-plus points per game on one team. That's tough to beat. I don't care if this team hasn't found the chemistry yet. I don't care if this team, we really don't know the true identity of the Clippers yet. They have 5 guys that can put up 20 points a game on your team. That's a lot. That's a lot of buckets, man. That's a lot of buckets. So you got 20 guys that can put up 20 points on your team, plus points on your team right now. And the only thing I thought that can stop that was the size of the Lakers. I don't see the Bucks size is nowhere near as big as the Lakers, and it's nowhere near as fearful as the Lakers. I don't see if it ain't the Bucks, if it ain't the Clippers. My strong second is of course LA, because I do think LA's still there. My strong third will be the Bucks, and my strong fourth will be the Celtics.
Celtics, yeah, a lot of people have been talking about the Celtics.
I take the Celtics over the Rockets right now because I don't know how the Rockets. When the small ball came around, they did real good, but then teams got adapted to it. They went on a crazy losing streak. So we have to see if teams are adapting to what the Rockets are going to bring.
Facts. They're
in the mix too. So, yeah, so with that being said, man, we went over a couple of things, man. Talked about the NBA back, Bobo, D-Wade, HBCUs, a couple interesting topics. As things continue to form into the NBA, we're going to keep you guys posted up to date with great topics, great situations, great questions, whatever it is you may have for us. Please let us know. Comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate every, follower, every view, every like, every comment, every constructive criticism. We are okay with that. This your boy Roms, my boy right here, Courtside Ross, man, and we appreciate you guys joining in with us, man. Till next week, we holla at you. Peace.
Appreciate it. Peace.